who likes the mic.
No questions? Please do. I think before you've mentioned a number of times about finding joy in our practice or in our debates, perhaps, and the sense that we should find joy. But then it occurred to me, if we don't find joy, there would be causes for the joy. And so maybe, is that, number one, is that true? And then number two, what might those causes be?
The question is how to find that joy. Okay. So I think we will find a joy if you think what you are doing, practicing, whatever you're doing, it is so relevant for your happiness. So that is the most important. That's when my teacher said, why we have to practice Dharma. The answer is very simple. Because we don't want suffering and we want happiness. So we have to bring the motivation. So that's why we are doing all this, I think, taking a refuge in the bodhicitta, the Sangye Shosoma. Sangye Shosoma, how do you translate? Taking refuge in bodhicitta in the refuge. So that, I think, at that time we have to do it very sincerely, but just feeling, not just saying it, just with feeling. That's the joy, actually. I tell you one story. In the down south monastery, there is one teacher who is such a great practitioner. So he is memorizing the Abhisamaya Alankara, memorizing. And his student who is studying, memorizing something. So his student is quite good in memorizing. So, but he always complains his teacher, because when his teacher is memorizing, he just go by syllables, by syllables and syllables, just like saying Namba Tamje, and then he just go back Namba Tamje Kenyi Lam, and then he just go back again Namba Tamje Kenyi Lam. So the student is always thinking that my teacher's the memory is not good. I'm much better, because what he is missing there is each and every time he's saying that, he's just going through the meaning. So that the student really don't know what's happening there. So, but the teacher is going through this, when saying feeling, where is this feeling? And then once he memorizes it, and he knows what he's saying. So that's not like what we are just doing, Kangyo Lotu Dimye Jinde. Most of us, we praise to Majushiri, and then we really don't know the real meaning, just deep inside, how we just awake this wisdom within us. We are not just praising to the Manjushri there, it's more here, we are trying to open it up. So like this. So my teacher, when he said why I should practice Dharma, why I should practice debate, and we have to make this very relevant. This the sign saying because I want happiness. So that I think we should need to keep in our mind, and then once you come to know how to debate, and then necessarily that the biggest question, because we say this is to improve our practice, then not just being only the debater, sharp debater, sharp debater, but also keeping in mind, where should I use this now? Not just to defeat your opponent. So then I think slowly, you will come to realize one day that without the debate, I'm 100% sure my understanding of Dharma would be not like that. That you will earn slowly. So that right now we have to come to some kind of a conclusion, saying my clapping my hands, sitting the posture like this, and saying how the rules of the debate, it is to the way to the liberation, 100%. You have to just feel it. And then maybe Saturday, maybe I will come with some quotations from one special insight where Lama Tsongkhapa has said very clearly, Chanandi Tiringa Dije Deva, Tanda Ladong Ki Deva Tanda, Shamargi Sonandola, and Jermuchi, Yang Yando, any Jiggy Jebekol, Maguji Kanayadi, any Ranzu do Station Kong Maguji Deon do some Tangeda, somewhat Kong Deon do any Ranzu so the any Chamini Betism, the Mebasue to the Lobran Chewers, all those. Then Chaminian Betism Jorva, that you determine yourself, Conda, determine you Betism de la, and it Lobran Cheche, Chanya Betism de Sir. Any Shine to Juru with Ganda Leon to some Shine to college age. That Shine Chosa to Jantus. The loud Dinachi to Seni Shumayan, Kuranzo, Sapembaling, Chishi.
There's this commentary to the Insight section by Shamma Rinpoche in one of the Lamrim commentaries, and in it, Rinpoche will bring it on Saturday, the quotes. There's these certain quotes where Shamma Rinpoche says, the reason why you're doing debate is to remove mistaken doubt. So there's three kinds of doubt. There's the doubt that tends towards the non-factual, there's equanimous doubt, and then there's doubt which is tending towards the factual. So the purpose of debate is to get out of doubt that is going in the wrong direction and make it, and just come to a point where you're neither sure entirely nor unsure. You're kind of in a state of equanimous doubt, it's called. And then to transform that kind of doubt into correct doubt, that's when then you'll start exerting yourself in accumulating merit or in the other accumulations, not of wisdom, of merit. But the purpose of doing this and studying, after having gone through all of Lama Tsongkhapa's texts, he says, whether they are essence of eloquence or whatever other text they might be, it seems at the point of analyzing and relying on analysis again and again is to remove mistaken doubt and bring it onto a form of equanimous doubt.
Have you ever felt that that we cannot bring the joy? Can you make a connection because we have a doubt? Can you feel that? because we have a strong doubt deep inside, and then the faith, the joy, it's not working. Can we say that? Right? Oh, yeah.
For me, I think sometimes things that I might think might agree are the causes of the happiness, in the moment don't have the feeling of pleasantness.
Mhm. So, Kurang di kendi potus ko ba? Joy ki kendi. Can you repeat that?
So maybe doing some recitations, in the act of doing it, maybe I don't feel so comfortable, maybe I feel a little unpleasant, then I finish and then I feel good.
Okay.
So it means there might be an initial resistance because in the recitations it doesn't feel that good.
Ale, the maybe this happens in the class also. This happens, but this you need to check what kind of the happiness are you getting from. It is due to the practice that you are getting, or maybe you feel like I did something that don't necessarily I have to do something. It's more like you have a kind of a commitment, which is a drive, and then you feel like you pushed yourself, I have to do it, and then you finish it, and you feel happy. It's like you don't want to get the injection, and then you get the injection, and you feel like, okay, now it's done, I'm happy. So that we say that, but not because why I need this injection, and I really need this.
No, I don't think it's happy because it's done.
Okay, are you sure about that?
I mean, maybe sometimes, but I think there is also the feeling of satisfaction or the sense that I created a good cause.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So do you feel like each and every step that you're going, you feel like I've going towards that direction?
Each and every step within the recitation, for example?
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe I might have that thought, but maybe my back hurts.
Back out. That's
Yeah.
true. Yes. So then you feel like even you are not your focus is not on the pain. It is like the pain it comes, but you feel the more you bring focus on the joy.
I mean that
The shift.
I can do that.
Yeah. So that's the most important. Because like me, a few days ago, I tried to watch one very boring movie, which my brother mentioned, and I fall asleep several times, and then I think now tonight I will finish it. So it takes a huge effort. There's no joy. I feel like when I finish, then I'm ready to tell my brother it's not a good recommendation. Similarly, that when time to time we do it, we get tired, but then you feel like going through the direction that it's right. Then I think even you have a complaint, but this is a complaint about this what we call contaminated body. This is about that, not regarding about the studies. So while you are meditating, you are concentration becomes very strong, but sometimes you feel uncomfortable sitting the posture sebe. Well, then you don't say, I don't enjoy meditation. So you can maybe relax a bit down and a different posture, and then you can meditate. So it's not the excuse is not the body, how it has been done. The more you feel that it's focus on that. So one time, in the time of His Holiness Dalai Lama's teaching, one great practitioner came from Tibet. So he was in front of me and then listening. He's so tired, called elderly practitioner. So he was falling asleep, and then I saw him doing several of the pinching on his body. And it's like after 2 or 3 days later, it's red everywhere. And I told him, don't punch here, punch here now. Changed it, and he laughed. And then we become quite close friends. And then he said, it's such a stupid mind and body I have. The real Buddha is here, but my mind, all these negative things are coming in the front of me. So I love pinching myself to awake my stupid mind. So he's doing it. So when he's saying this, the tears are coming out. So it's like the body is kind of sometimes rejecting, but the mind is strong there. So then he has no complaint that when will the teaching finish? And maybe His Holiness is repeating again and again. He doesn't have any complaints on that. So because he knows this direction where it's going. I think this is quite important. Okay.
Since we are saying the prayer before every session, since we are reciting this prayer...
This is not on.
Since we are reciting this prayer before every session, can Rinpoche share the meaning and significance so that we can generate some feeling?
So that's why I, time to time, say, sometimes we do that in a Tibetan language, sometimes do that in English. So in when I travel in the West, I recommend people to do it on their own language, if there's a translation available. What you can do also is do a little bit homework back there, and then in order to do it in a group, maybe you can do in a Tibetan kansa, not accent, phonetics in a Tibetan, you can do it. But more is you know what you're saying, that's more important. Oh, and then my teachers also mentioned that this is to also have a strong imprint and get familiar with the language. So that's important.
So can you, Rinpoche, explain the significance of the prayer?
Which prayer? The Kangloma. For an example, in the Kangloma, it's first we have to accept ourselves that we are mintum, mintum, mimbo tomba. It's in English there. Who reached the compassion like father for his only child? 60-fold. Two di. Di kadirido. Di kangi. Sovietara mintum sedi. Two di. Dina mintum doe. Okay. Groping in the darkness of ignorance. That is very powerful. So first, if you cannot completely agree with that, then what you are saying this. And then actually you are not believing to the which wisdom you are asking. So this is just an example. So the biggest question for all of us is, when we don't feel that somehow we are groping in the darkness of ignorance, and then this isn't a kind of our the most importance of learning, practicing. This isn't been a kind of most important for us to clear this out. When we pray to Manjushri, this is the reason why we are taking refuge in the wisdom Buddha. So likewise, then the Kange Tusi Nyesone also taking refuge in the Buddha. Also, it is the kind of, we say, in order to eliminate all wrong views, we say that. But then we don't have quite a understanding on that. And then even you take a refuge in the Buddha, how the Nagarjuna did it, and then how this the great master prays to the Manjushri. We are repeating after them, but we are not going through the same track. So that should be our, when we say it, we need to feel it. That's what I'm saying. And even though you don't feel 100% that we are deluded, but somehow you have a quite understanding. Looks like we are going through the strong influence of these wrong views, and then somehow there is a strong, I think, not a strong maybe, but quite joy when we are doing the studies. Yeah, that could be the one I wanted to share. Okay. 단다 디 개와도 단다 도차로 지랑 모시면 그런 말도. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit late, so maybe this question has already been asked, and in that case I apologize. We were talking about difficulty with the body, but sometimes you notice, especially in debate, that the mind becomes very troubled with maybe fear or anger or maybe even, I don't know, fear and anger mostly, irritation. So how much of that should we try and ignore it during debate, or do we work with it during debate, or do we expect it to get lessened during time, over time?
Irritation 생각하자고. 저기. Okay. Set your mind, I think setting up your mind to debate courtyard or on the debate, the person whom you are going to debate, that make sure this is nothing personal. Okay? And this is a debate to sharpen your wisdom, bring more compassion, bring open your mind, being open-minded. So for this purpose, I'm going to do it. So with this kind of motivation, you go there. Of course, this will happen. Some people will make fun of you, and then some could be much better than you, and maybe you got praised by your teacher or other classmates. All these ups and downs will be there, of course. And then a little bit of the irritation should be welcome. This should be happening, but you shouldn't go through this kind of the faults. This kind of faults happens each and every time. It should be more like, I did this well, but why I need to become proud of? Because my practice doesn't end here. And then, if even you are not doing well here, then you feel like I'm bad. But who said you are bad? And why you need to listen to that person? Because it takes time, but it's worth taking time. And then after the understanding, through the debate, the teacher and His Holiness Dalai Lama already said, it's much more clear, much more stable. That should be my focus. And then for that, I need to put all of my efforts. I'm going to do it. Because most of you have been doing so many practices, but you got the highest teaching and practice in every time with you. Many of you have a commitment. Highest yoga tantra, you have a commitment. But still, you are not getting the flavor out from there. But then His Holiness, kindness of His Holiness and my teachers, now this debate, this should be the path to bring this kind of flavor. So, on that path, all these, when we say inwardly concerns, will come up, and then the beauty is, once you recognize, normally we go under the sway of these negative emotions. But now, with a great purpose, now you are stay on the top of the mountain and look down to this, the mind is coming to you. So, right after the debate, once you go back home, and then you just look at your mind. This and this, I need to keep it. And this, just leave out there. It's not useful anymore. So this is, I think, it is quite necessary. So if you don't for me also, when I was studying in IBD, the most difficult is like, should I ask this question? If I ask this question, maybe I should ask perfectly. I do that. Sometimes, even you feel this stupid question. One time I tried it, and then my teacher was pointing like, this is a very good question. Why didn't people ask this question? I was waiting for this. But deep inside you feel like mind will be not good enough. It's never the case of, I really wanted to know. So what blocks your mind, it's like, maybe I shouldn't ask this because it sounds stupid. People will find me stupid. My teacher will find me stupid. That covers everything. We really don't know through the stupidity where it brings so many great answers. Yeah, so yes, time to time I asked stupid questions to my teacher. I never give up on that. But I'm trying my best to give the best question. But my teacher makes it very beautiful. And so I think we need to check our mind through the debate and in the class, why you are asking this question, and this is really from the depth of your heart that you wanted to know something. Then if you feel like this, then there shouldn't be a fear, there shouldn't be some kind of a blockage that takes away this right from you. maybe I have already told us the story of the 13th Dalai Lama's tutor, the Purjo Rinpoche. You remember? Purjo Rinpoche is the one who wrote the Duda, logic, Duda, the collective Duda. So he is also the teacher of Serkong Dorje-chang, Purjo Rinpoche, my predecessor's father. So Purjo Rinpoche said in his life, right after his gurus, then most kind person is his classmate, who gave him a very difficult time, because Purjo Rinpoche is recognized as one highly accomplished Lama's reincarnation. Then he wasn't studying very hard, and then he needs to do one examination in front of all the monks. And then the debate partner has quite a big mouth, and then he kind of asked a question that Purjo Rinpoche couldn't, very difficult to give the answer. Then he said in the front of all the monks, saying, it is not a surprise that you cannot answer my question, because I know that you are surrounded by all the pleasures and the attendants feeding you, and now your work is only to fill the toilet. There's no wonder that you can answer this difficult question. And when he said that, Purjo Rinpoche, during the time of this examination, didn't get shy what people will think about me. He thought, that's 100% true. I need to study again. This is a really great teaching. So he brought this strong kind of a motivation to study more. That was such a blessing. And then he said, now I wanted to study again. He studied again, and then he becomes such a great teacher and a teacher to the 13th Dalai Lama. What will, in this kind of case, if happens to me or some of like you, and then we go like just like shock, and then forget about studying more. We will feel like, why that guy has to bring this in the public, and you got a new enemy. But for him, he says, when he meditates on the kindness, right after the Guru, this is the one. When he becomes the 13th Dalai Lama's teacher, he sends a special invitation to that person, saying, come to meet me, please. So, okay.
Rinpoche, so for me sometimes on the debate ground it's almost the opposite, that I feel if I debate on somebody, sometimes they get so upset or uncomfortable if it doesn't go the way they want. So then I try my best to not, because I of course do not want to upset them, but sometimes without really knowing if they have a good day or a bad day, sometimes, they get quite uncomfortable, and then I feel like I should stop so that I'm not making them uncomfortable. But also, I don't know if that's the right way of doing, so maybe Rinpoche has some advice.
That depends on the person, if he is interested in studying. Sometimes you are so interested in studying, and that person is not kind of ready, and he's like very behind. And then even you debate with that person, the person will find it very difficult. So sometimes in my debate courtyard, some of the classmates debate very well. So I thought like, I'm not going to debate with him, he's too good for me. But then I have a regret that why if I have spent more time with that person, even I get defeated many times, but strongly I will improve and know better. That's for sure. But that is the one important that we have to keep in our mind, and also the most important is keeping the normal relation. That is very important also. If you don't have a good relation, normal life, and then what do you expect from debate courtyard? So I think necessarily that sometimes even that person gets difficult, you need to be very skillful, I guess. Because when I was studying in Canada, my host and has these two sons. So one son is like he tried to teach me English or help in my English. So every time I try to read or something and my pronunciation, he will laugh. And he will make fun of me. And he will wait for his parents to come and wait and say, when the parents come back from work, he just go, oh my goodness, the Rinpoche said something like this today. It's so funny, Rinpoche did that, and it's so funny, you know. So, which is really helpful for me, very helpful. And there's the other son, a very different attitude. He just go like, he says, maybe, yeah, this sounds like more British English, you know, that in India is strong influence of British, but in Canada we don't say like that. So he trying to be very skillful. They both are so kind to me. But more, I can see this, the first one, the younger son, who is sometimes irritating. You know, that's more quick, more forceful to me to get the improvement. Yeah, so I think you know the 18s. That will be the one way to think. Yeah.
Since we're on the topic, one thing that's been happening to me a lot is when we're debating, is just me with one other person, and you know I know them outside. It's comfortable, and then when a Tishala will debate, you know, in front of the whole group, it's like the nervous system shuts down. I can't even like tell if pot is shape or color, and it's like total panic. So I was wondering if you have tips about like how to kind of regulate the nervous system, and I'm sure it's related to the 8 worldly concerns, but yeah, thank you.
So it's true actually when you're feeling I can do it, but then if you have some person whom you respect and they're some much better, or your teacher, then nervous system, it shuts down, that's for sure. But more is, I think we need to keep in our mind that when Buddha said, hesitation on a virtuous thing is also negative. The the hesitation on the negative action, it's a positive. So that even the Adisha is here, even His Holiness Dalai Lama is here, even my teacher is here, Buddha himself is there. Now this is a great time to open it up. And then it's not like a examination, marks coming up, Then it's a little bit of what will happen to my marks. It's more like you have opened up, you have cleared things out, and this is the place. So leaving this kind of the ground after to something, maybe this will be not more accessible for you. So it doesn't matter whoever he is in front of you, that person is actually to help you to become much better in a debate. So you shouldn't mind that thinking that what will he think. It's more like, unless I don't check this with him, I'm going to shut down for myself. So then bring this and then do it. So sometimes seeing it, having the respect to the teacher as a Buddha, but keeping your mind as he's kind of my best friend. And then it works much better. Because I like the way, because sometimes when we say, oh, he's great, he is so good, I need to show respect, sometimes this hesitation comes and then it becomes the blockage to make the connection deeper with your teacher. So it is more important that as the great Bodhisattva Thomya Sangpo, when he said in the 37 practices of Bodhisattva, when he gave the definition of the teacher, he said staying, sharing with him, that person, automatically you get that knowledge and realization with not much effort. You get it. That is called a good friend. The definition of the teacher is that. So that's somehow we need to keep in my mind. So Ling Rinpoche, His Holiness says to Ling Rinpoche, predecessor, sometimes he feels like he's my father. Sometimes he says teacher, sometimes like mother, sometimes like that, sometimes like that. So in the teacher and the Buddha, you need to take advantage of that person's quality. And then how you put it, my best friend. Maybe you are somebody to lean on, so you are the one. So it's much more effective. Yeah. So yes, going back to the eight-worldly concerns. So this is not a room for the eight-worldly concerns. We need to overcome that. Not easy, but if you see the disadvantage of that, and then of course you don't want to. So I think I mentioned one time, one of the early in the Tibet, I think before Adisha came to Tibet, the great Katamba, the lineage holder, Geshe Bekongye. So when he was practicing, and then there's a long story, so I'm not going to share everything here, but one particular thing, when he was told by his sponsor that the sponsors will come to see him. So then he was sitting on a kind of a bed, and then he was cleaning everything, and his altar was so clean, and normally he's not doing that well. And then that time he did super well, and it was shiny, and everything was clean. And then he sat down, and then he checked his mind. What I'm doing? I'm not doing this for my own benefit. This is not to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with my practice. Actually, I'm fitting my 8 worldly concerns. And then he brings the dust or some kind of ashes that from the incense, and then he puts everywhere on his altar, and then he puts on his robe on his head. And then when the sponsors came, he is not speaking to them because he's so shy. So that was one, when Adisha came to Tibet, and then he said, this great master already left us such a great teaching in Tibet. He mentioned that several times. So same thing, you should do that. But you cannot do. You wanted to ask, you wanted to open up, but you feel like, and then check with your mind, why I cannot do this? Because maybe I don't have a question. Maybe I have a question, but I'm worried about my ego. And then see the 2 reasons, and then it will be easy for you. Opening up. So in the Western, what does that mean actually? Opening up.
Maybe being free with oneself, or being receptive.
Receptive?
Means present. Vulnerable.
Open up. Open up means, I think, here what I'm talking in the class, when we say we need to open up, means mostly if you have a question, you prepare well, and then sometimes you're holding it towards yourself, feeling all the things that maybe it's not a good question, what will other people will think, all this sort of thing. So open up means I'm not going to think like what it is not the influence of the 8 worldly concerns. And also, I think it is very important for me to get this answer. So you are so focus on getting the answer, to quench the thirst. And then that's what I'm trying to say, open it up. So normally it's we are so open up, which we shouldn't be open up so many things. So that's why we get all the unnecessary things, the bad comments, and so this is maybe we shouldn't be opened up at that time. But here we should open up because it's more relevant to the practice. So yeah.
I have one question. Can you teach us a little bit of meditation for the debate practice? Like how our mind is like agitated, as Hendrik said. So we're always thinking the debate and questions and stuff, how to defeat others. So how can we bring the debate into our meditation to settle our mind?
So concentration is very necessarily when I think jumping to the meditation before we need to think a little bit of the concentration. So more you can concentrate, the better your meditation will be. But we need to think the number one, why I cannot concentrate. That is more important question here. Because what we are trying to do here, this debate system and all the 4-year course that we are going to look into, it is it's for the meditation. So the day one when we start, when I go through the path of stages, in there Lama Tsongkhapa very kindly mentioned that people in the Tibet, in India, they like meditation, single point of meditation, but if they don't have analytical meditation, then it is not going to work, because this one is the cause and one is the result. So for that reason, each and every time when you are into debate, the beauty is you cannot stop thinking. You will ask yourself a question, you will build this question saying, okay, then what? Yes. Then how does that work? Then how does that work? And then once that kind of information becomes very strong, stable, and then where you have to take it is into the focus meditation. So when you go back to your room after the debate, then more you can lay down and think and connect. And then you will start enjoying. I think that will be very helpful. And then, right now, we shouldn't completely, because our study is not focusing directly, strongly on a bodhicitta and emptiness at this moment. So you should make the path where we are training our mind, that path we need to make it quite strong. It is the road that in the future the bodhicitta and emptiness can run on that. So the track right now, that is something, as I mentioned earlier, that when we say I'm thinking of something and I forgot. Okay, leave it. I forgot completely. So this is more important, that you go back to your room and then the debate, are you enjoying or not only here. And that you go back and then are you doing this homework and are you enjoying this? So if you don't make any kind of preparation, in your room and then you wanted to do cover everything in the class, that won't work. So, yeah, most of the beautiful questions that a teacher, Adisha, will get from you is, I think mostly people will have a thoughts when they are in their room and thinking a lot, and then they come with that, not just simultaneously when Adisha is saying it is coming up like that. So that means that person, when they go back to their room, they are really thinking quite serious. So we need to learn from that. When I'm saying this, I'm telling to myself because I wasn't doing that very well. So I don't want this kind of mistake made by you. So I just wanted to remind that to you all. Okay.
So, as we are talking about meditation and practice, I've been wondering about Lamrim meditations because I find it a little bit uncomfortable now because we are meant to focus on certain topics, but then all these doubts come up and I feel like it's too early to settle on something, and so I'm wondering how to find this balance. Of course, I mean, yeah, eventually you kind of know it, but at the moment I don't, so then I wonder.
Which one confuses you or the uncomfortables you in the Lamrim?
Well, I would have it with all of them, essentially, but for example, the point of all sentient beings having been our mothers, for example, this one, or also about death and impermanence, there can be...
Okay. So, this should make us uncomfortable, for sure. Normally when we say Sangye Chozoma taking refuge in bodhicitta, many times I block there. So all the sentient beings, mother, and why I need to do this. This is a big concern. This is a big concern. But of course this should be our focus. But at this moment, it shouldn't be like our 100% focus. In the Lamrim section, this Lamrim is taught in Tibet. So that's why the Tibetans has a huge faith already, and then these the teachings are meant to go through the Guru devotion, and then it's taught like the people already has faith in past and future, like mother sentient being. It's never a problem for them. Very special place. But it doesn't mean that all the Tibetans has a conviction of all the mothers, all the sentient being wants our mother. That may be 100%, they cannot prove it. But the more focus of the Lamrim, particularly, it is from the Guru devotion to the liberation, or from the bodhicitta to the liberation, or where it talks about when we make a special praise to the Manjushri, saying that we groping to the darkness of ignorance. That we need to make a very strong conviction. And then it is the practice looks very relevant. And then once you think like, now I think I can do it for myself, and then of course you will think, even I get this, even realization, even I on the liberation, but then what are you going to do? Sleep forever? I don't think so. And then I wanted to help others. So then the question, the number one is like, why I need to help them? Like 100% put all the efforts there. Because this will be the really good, you have to answer to that kind of question, which is the self-cherishing related. Then there is another way of practice on that level. So the Lamrim is all designed like that. So in there, it is more, my teacher would say, you need to find in the Lamrim where you want to focus more. You cannot just focus on the Guru devotion for hours and hours and then come to their other place and hours. No, because this is so important and that's why it's necessary. This one is so necessary. So that's how we need to practice the Lamrim actually. Otherwise, you say like, unless I don't get a conviction that all the mother sentient being, all the sentient being wants mother or not, then I'm not going to practice bodhicitta. It's quite a big thing. Shouldn't be hold to that ground like that. But it's more like using the antidote on yourself, and you feel like before I feel like kind of helpless. I feel like I can do better, but now I think I can do better. I found this antidote. Now, which this kind of antidote is found by my parents, my brother, my sister, and then because if they have this, then their way of spending their life, time, it's different. And then with this kind of conviction, and then you feel like whether there is a future life or not, but this is an amazing moment to spend, if there's one. So yeah, this I think we really need to know where we need to put more focus in our practice. Like His Holiness Dalai Lama and one a great Mongolian geshe when they are discussing about past and future lives, because it's a very, very hard topic. And then His Holiness asked this geshe, like, now you are learned pramana and you are quite learned on this subject of past and future life. So what do you believe, whether there is a past and future life or not? The answer that Geshe-la was saying, he said, I feel there's no future life because then it makes our life more complicated. But if there's one, then we need to prepare it somehow. So the best news is there's no future life. Then His Holiness completely agree on that. So if there's no future life, that's a very good news. But if the continuum is there, then it is much worrying. So that's why we are saying, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So even these great beings are discussed through that. So the more they are not every day just thinking about their past and future life or not, then should we practice or not, like that. they are drawn by the teachings of the Buddha, by the Four Noble Truths, especially whether there is cessation or not, can cease, eliminate the negative emotion once and all. That was the biggest concern. And that's why I think His Holiness always say when he talks on the second scope, he says, in the second scope, now the true teachings of the Buddhism spoke here. Spoken here, discussed here, explained here.
Sorry, but so to put focus, we need to know where to put our focus. So does that mean that we need to pick a topic where we have conviction, or we have understood by reasoning and really is stable, or does it mean to pick a topic that that resonates with your mind, and if you focus on this, then you notice it improves, or both? Can you say the whole thing, your whole question? So what is it? So Rinpoche says that we need to know where to put our focus, and so I'm wondering. Can you combine it with the earlier question? The earlier. Combine the two questions together. Yeah. So when we are meditating on the Lamrim, so I don't know, combining. So yeah, then. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So when focusing on topics of the Lamrim, then I feel a bit uncomfortable because I feel like I'm trying to familiarize myself with something that I haven't really properly investigated. So and then Rinpoche says to know what to focus on, that we need to know what to focus on. So I wonder what that means. Does it mean to take a topic where we have gained certainty, or does it mean to pick a topic that is like pragmatically working?
di injiri kadu di nalo la pena medabe ko sungri chiu medabe ko sungri ane lawa do da chigi megene ye jibuding kadulne ane chigi nyomong nam sha do sungri ane simju chudan do sungri de zola kapde jada nyembo den dan do do seon do zembe ndi yago yongya chila ane gewe shiningi kadindi ma bombal de zo yongya me do se ko connection serve na 아니 기회 신인데 시부지 그린 친구 뒷마신 바이나 딜레 야보지 곰지지 마된 바이나 양글랑고 자와데 시도도 세지 대균균데 어디 제외는 골람름디 다다 두고 이주리스 신고 미국지 깔체 디에 야고신 스도 차상 간에 담보네 뷰타고 용세에 가고 봐.
When you're doing something like the Lamrim, it's going to discuss different things at different points. So there'll be like death and impermanence and precious human life, and then as you move forward, it'll get into other subjects like the afflictions, how they obstruct your mind and how they keep you trapped, etc., etc., etc. But if you started from the beginning and you have an understanding of how, so this is not one subject, but understanding how they all flow from the initial one, which is relying on a spiritual guide, and without a good or a proper realization of that first point, then the second one and the third one and the fourth one, they don't flow. there's the reason why there's that sequence is because if you want the later ones to arise, you want those later realizations or those later convictions, they have to be founded on an earlier one. So if you understood this sequence, then whatever you might be focusing on at whatever point, it'll all happen very naturally. But not having understood this entire sequence and how they all arise from the previous one, and how eventually it has to be founded on realizing that one has to rely on a spiritual teacher, which is like the root of the path, then focusing on individual ones and expecting some sort of result just by focusing on individual subjects like that is unlikely. It doesn't work like that in Lamrim.
So in the Lamrim itself, it says there are so many Kadamba Lamas quotation there, saying, now I have seen so many importance of the Lamrim, the main points of the Lamrim. But then the Kadamba Lama, I think Geshe Podawa, he said, now if I let go of this strong practice of impermanence, then I will let go all the other important practices. In order to keep all the important of the teachings of the Lamrim, I'm going to keep the understanding and the realization of the impermanence very strongly. So it is clearly stated in the section where I think near to the Guru devotion or somewhere it is there. So this is, I think, necessary. And then also, because Lamrim is mostly guided by your teacher, because you need to be, you need a guidance from a teacher saying, now where I need to meditate on, and you need to become a good friend with your teacher, and then teacher knows how your mind is working, and the student knows his or her teacher's way of thinking, and then putting together, and then this I think switching the object of meditation. So that's why one time in the Lamrim it's there saying, now I have meditated on impermanence and quite a lot. So now I request that to change my object of the meditation. And then Lama says, oh, very good, but continuously meditate on impermanence. And then still did it again and again. Then he was kind of fed up with this and said, now I have done several times, can you please change it? And then Lama says, I have never found better than the meditating on impermanence in my life, so stick with it. So it has a strong the meaning there. So we try to, in our practice, we try to eat like a little bit of this, little bit of that, not completely getting the full picture there. So that's why the students, I think, who is also asking these questions are not like us. It's more like the person who is already kind of knows quite a bit of Dharma. And then they are so eager to now wanted to get a liberation and so fast. And now Lama is holding this rope, saying, hold on, you should focus more here. So yeah, so this can wait, this can wait, but we need to know the more focus on in the Lamrim which section that you feel more convinced, more you are kind of enjoying this practice a lot. And then with this debate, it's more, you have to come to the conclusion saying, without this, no liberation. Without this, no bodhicitta. And then, without this, I won't be happy forever. I think without this, I won't be happy, is one of the strongest mantra. This is every children, adult, when it comes down to this decision, the final reason why they need to do it, it's one good answer through their experiences. If I don't do that, I won't be happy. That is very powerful. So the debate system is helping you with that. Okay. The mic.
I was just wondering if you could like briefly say what the Oma Rapatsana D means, or just like at least what to think about if we're reciting that in addition to, like little extra ones, and how that might help give us wisdom.
Oma Rapatsana D, I think there is so many explanations on that. My teacher one time in not the Tenzin Gyume, the other teacher now who passed away, Rinpoche told me it means Jigdin Migjin Kyoldu, saying I will make a homage to the one who has given the eyes to the samsara. World. Okorwa, Jigdin, world. To the world. To the world.
To the one who's given eyes to the world.
Jigdin Migjin Choladu. So now it goes back to the same when we say here that with this eye we can see. Without this, we cannot see the darkness. What kind of darkness is this? Groping in the darkness of ignorance. The same comes to that. So then it's more to the wisdom. The eye is not other than the wisdom. And then with this wisdom, we need to make sure with this wisdom, I feel like I have the eyes to differentiate between this and that. Otherwise, I will be under the sway of the negative emotions and then ignorance mind. So that's why India also the entering to the middle way by the Chandrakirti said all these 6 paramitas, perfections, 6 perfections. The wisdom is the one with the eye, and the rest is a kind of a blind brothers. Following this wisdom, then it brings a light. Otherwise, then it is always it contributes. Whatever other practices you are doing, generosity and so on, without the wisdom, it makes the contribution to the samsara. So with this wisdom, it is our hope to get out from this samsara. So Now, I think when you say this, when we need to visualize Manjushri, but the Manjushri is, we shouldn't focus very solid Manjushri like that, but it's more like the Manjushri who is the manifestation of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, the wisdom. And then you feel the connection. Otherwise, you just think like there one particular Manjushri, and especially this Manjushri, not that Manjushri. Then it is not working well. So I think this is a powerful way of visualizing the deities, because the deities is not like we cannot identify as like our friends, like this one, not others. But all the deities is something the one potential of the great beings. That becomes very powerful. And when we make a special praise to the Guru, Lama Sanje, Lama Chu, Tishin Lama Gyendun, Kunji Chebo Lama, that also very powerful. Because saying this, not my Lama, his Lama, it's more like all the potential, or all the gurus and Buddhas, it's the one, you are the one. Kind of non-sectarian. Yeah. So it is a good question, because normally we do lots of arapasana, di, but not much with the feeling. And then His Holiness mentioned maybe we need to find this out. I will try to do that. You guys study. But then His Holiness one time mentioned in the how to make the visualization where the D has to stand on our throat, and the facing of the D at the end of the recitation. You need to visualize how the nectar goes on your heart. All these are there. This is quite important also. But these are the not the main practice. This has to make you strong enough to realize groping in the darkness of ignorance. We say that groping into darkness of ignorance, we say it like we know it, but it's to bring this kind of if somebody asks you like, do you really feel it, then it's a difficult question for us. Ane gengi toba da keke ma sonte ina yanta nyumun di kazama dangzin di lo tumi tumba jimba di nye garoshe tuba chagdos. No, tumi tumba jimba di. Lo she yimba tanda shutib she tu mandus. Tumi tumbi kan dating sondo jingi sawach ligdos.
Someone once asked Gen, what are you doing now? What realizations have you got? And Gen said, I don't really have any realizations, but I can say with more conviction than before that ignorance is not wrong. I can't say it's wrong entirely yet, but I can say that it's kind of largely misleading, or it is largely mistaken, but I can't still say for sure that it's wrong. So I haven't got any realization, but I feel like I'm more convinced of this. That's possibly most important.
the great practitioners like my teacher, their focus is not to eliminate directly negative emotions like that, but they go like with step by step. First, we really need to come to the point where say, this, like my teacher said, I see this as the ignorance as my own enemy now. Once I have it, I feel very unhappy. I can see that. But still we are very comfortable with our ignorance mind. Well, my teacher feels quite differently. This is the, I think, most important part. So, yeah. Okay, I think you all focus is there now. Okay, so thank you. And again, so today my teacher is coming, so yeah. Oh, then there is a box of apple from Spiti. It's fresh, so just I think there's enough for everybody. Just take one, and maybe leave, maybe few. Maybe there's some people that you need to share with. And if you like it, you let me know. Then I will deliver more. Okay. So my teacher, as you know, that he's not continuously coming for the following month. So make sure the good use of his timing, very precious. So more, I'm going to say the question that you will be asking. Make sure that is something relevant to what you guys are really doing. This sometimes question can be like a very personal questions and some kind of not directly related ones, but more you need to take advantage of is most of you are struggling with more like with this kind of debate system. How should I think? How should I relate with that? And then this you need to take advantage of that. So give extra thought before asking the question, make it meaningful and make this relevant to my teacher's teaching. Okay? Okay, thank you very much then. Thank you.